everyone, this is Paleo Polly here, and today we are baking a flourless chocolate cake. It is paleo, it is delicious, it's a no fuss 4 ingredients cake that actually tastes better 2 or 3 days after I have baked it. Why paleo? Because listening to my body, I find that paleo is the best lifestyle that I can find. Many years ago, I found out that I had an intolerance to wheat and dairy and a few other things, fruit. And so I pushed the limits, and I bet some of you are pushing your limits as well. It's not worthwhile. I ended up with a very bloated stomach, and I was bloated all over. And it was probably about 12 years ago, and I thought enough is enough. And so listening to my body, things like potatoes, I was bloated after a main meal. So the first thing I did was I eliminated meat. I thought meat was doing it, and then I found that I was still being bloated. So what I did was I started eliminating everything else, and I found out that potato makes me very bloated. So I switched to sweet potato, which doesn't affect me. And that is part of the principles of the paleo lifestyle. Listen to your body. Make sure that what you're eating is really good, fresh, wholesome food. That is what I am all about. And today we're going to have our cake and eat it too, paleo and very low in sugar, because we don't use a lot of sugar when we eat paleo. But that's enough about me at the moment. I want to introduce a very good friend of mine. This is Jamie, and Jamie is part of a wonderful duo called the Plump Vegetarians, and this is her cookbook.
Hi.
Jamie, please introduce yourself.
My name is Jamie. I'm one half of the 2 Plump Vegetarians. My husband and I are aiming to inspire like-minded vegetarian people in the area to eat more fresh food that we have available in this beautiful microclimate that we live in. So that's me.
And why I have invited Jamie along is that even though I eat meat, I use her book because it's wonderful. You can either have it as a veggie meal or some of the dishes you can have as a side dish.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely delicious. So there'll be information at the end of this video about Jamie, about Greg, and about their book and how you can actually purchase it. Delicious. Now I'm going to start with, it's a flourless chocolate cake, no flour whatsoever. There are other recipes around that you can use almond meal. That's another flourless chocolate cake, but I'm going to do my very simple 4 ingredients, and we're going to start with a very simple thing, and that is lining one of these. Now I have a trick to the trade. I know it sounds silly, and Jamie was quite amazed as to I use pegs, and you might think, what the hell is she using pegs for? Let me show you. Okay, I crunch up this because it's so easy to put down, and then I crunch up this. Now what happens normally is as you're putting this down, it does move around. So what's the easiest thing? Put a peg in it.
That's amazing.
Join it there.
I love it. That's
Put a peg
great.
in it.
Yes.
Put a peg in it.
Put a
But
peg
what you
in
have
it.
to remember is take the pegs off before
That'd be me.
put them in the oven. So
That is so
how simple is that? There. There you go. Simple as. You can butter the tin if you like beforehand. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really doesn't matter because there's a lot of this paper.
Yeah.
And I always put it in a tray like that because then it's really easy to put in the oven and to bring it out. So there's my first tip. If you have troubles with the paper standing still, especially when you are folding the mixture in there and you panic, oh my god, this is easy as.
That's great.
Really easy as. Now I'm going to show you the ingredients. I'll put that to one side. Okay, so unsalted butter, 200 grams. All the ingredients is going to be written down at the end. 200 grams of this. Chocolate. Now, we could go big time expensive, and we could get expensive, delicious
Cocoa butter and
yeah, and we'll do that
cocoa
another
solids.
time.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds great.
This time I want to keep it affordable for everyone and easy for everyone so that you can just go to a supermarket and buy these products. We have checked all of the chocolates available and the cooking chocolates. Did you know that cooking chocolate has more sugar in it than these sweet eaten chocolates? Check them out for yourself, please. I really think it's important that if you're making a lifestyle change, whether it's to become a vegetarian, whether it's to keto, whether it is paleo, that you start reading the back and look at all the ingredients. We do that with our, well, we don't use tinned tomatoes now, we get it in a jar, but all of that, and sometimes after 12 months, they can actually change the sugar content.
Absolutely.
Change the recipe. So you've got to be very, very mindful. So this chocolate here, we're going to use this. Delicious. That's 2. Very, very easy. Now, the sugar content. We still need some sugar. The recipe, the normal recipe, asks for 1 cup of sugar. I cringe at that. I've got it down to 1/4 of a cup.
Wow.
Now, you're going to taste it after.
Yum.
Maybe I should have said how much I was taking out. But that's how much you can get it down to. I don't have a sweet tooth, but I bake for my director, as well as my neighbours and friends, and none of them notice much of a difference with the sweetness.
I at least half everything.
Good.
Always. So, yeah.
What sort of sugar do you use, or sweetener?
We actually use raw sugar, but only because my husband drives a sugar truck.
Yeah, and it's convenient.
That's right.
I've brought in some.
I do use actually maple syrup quite a lot.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Xylitol is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Xylitol is good. I use it in my cup of tea. Okay, that's how I use it because
Yeah.
I cannot go without sugar in my tea. I tried it for a whole year,
I
and
do.
but that I don't use for cooking. Apart from the expense, because it is quite expensive. It's a bit too grainy.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like sugar.
Yes.
Essentially.
This pure Canadian maple syrup. And I will be using that for the chocolate mousse I'm making as an icing over my cake after. And there's stevia, and there's a few different types of stevia. I'm using this one. It is for baking. It's a natural, one of the natural ones from a plant. Again, it's got to suit you and your budget, and I find this very affordable, and it does mix up quite well with cooking. So have a read, have a research, Google, find out what is really appropriate for you and what you want to cook for and your budget. So I'm going to use this today, and I believe it's quite delicious.
I do use the maple syrup quite a lot. The other thing I found is a date syrup, which I know you can't eat with the fruit intolerance, but those without a fruit intolerance, the date syrup is quite a nice, rich sugar
It is.
replacement.
It is.
It's a little thicker than the maple syrup, that's all, in consistency. But in terms of sweetness, probably about the same.
Yes. Now you're going to give us some facts about the digestive system and sugar and all of that stuff.
I am from our little book here called The Sweet Poison Quick Plan.
That's a Brisbane Australian, he was a lawyer.
David Gillespie.
Yeah. And he started researching sugar for his own family because he was overweight as well. And he did a lot of research. I don't know if he's still lawyering, don't know. But he's written a few books about sugar and he's lost weight, kept it off, and his family's very healthy as well. But it's the fact that these are all seen as toxins, aren't they?
Yes. It says here that you will actually, the brain in the same treats sugar as the same as opioid class of drugs, as in morphine, codeine, methadone, opium. Oh, this is crazy. And you're thinking, no, it's just sugar. Well, you are going to experience similar to opioid withdrawal symptoms. So the yawning, the sweating, dilated pupils, anxiety, insomnia. This is not good. If you want to, please look up David Gillespie's book and learn more.
Yeah.
about the sugar you're intaking.
Yes. Yes. Now, today's cake, we're going to get started with it, but there's a few other things I'll be baking soon. I will be making not today, an absolutely delicious rosemary cake, and I use the rosemary that I grow, and that is delicious. I'm also going to do some raw cakes. Now, with the raw cakes, I will actually use some of the dates. Is it the dates? Yes, the dates as a sweetener.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't eat it, but it's part of the recipe. Yeah. And I'm going to be cooking an orange cake as well.
Sounds lovely.
And that's where you actually use every bit of the orange, and I will show you exactly. So there's a few recipes coming up that are sweet, and then I'll certainly do a few savoury dishes as well. So shall we get started?
Yes, indeed. Can I do something?
Absolutely. 200 grams of that.
There, 200 grams.
Yes, and we'll put it in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the chocolate. Now these are all at room temperature. It's really important that you bring everything out of the fridge and leave everything at room temperature. And I'm going to use my microwave.
Wow.
Because I like to keep things really
easy.
Really easy. You can chop that up if you can chop the butter a little bit. And 2 of these. Second one. So occasionally I do use some fruits, but I'm not eating them, and my neighbours love them. I do a lovely banana cake as well. You do a lovely banana cake.
It's probably the only thing I can actually successfully bake on my own. Greg is very much the baker in our family. That's why I'm here, though, is to learn from the master.
Well, this is easy.
Dead easy. Is
it okay?
Chopped up enough?
It is. Lovely. And now we're going to microwave it, but maybe you'll come back a little bit later after we've actually microwaved it. Oh, it's only been 36.
Oh yeah,
wow. 30
so
and 30.
quick.
That is a minute, isn't
Excellent. I love it. Just breaking the chocolate bits.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we need this to cool down a little bit. The fourth ingredient are 6 eggs. So we have 200 grams of the chocolate, 200 grams of the butter. You melt those together. I do them in the microwave. I do them for 30 seconds and then I stir it and another 30 seconds, and that normally does it. So that now needs to cool down next to our beautiful little tin here. Oh yes. And now we need 6 eggs, and we need them separated. This one's really good at fluffing up the egg whites. Oopsie daisy. Okay, we are now doing the next process. So we've got the tin lined, we've got the chocolate cooling. So now I'm going to combine just a 1/4 cup of this organic stevia in with the yolk. Really easy. Really easy. Okay, that's all the sugar that you need. And I'll tell you why also, because there is some sugar in the chocolate that we buy. Just a little bit. All right, so this is going to be loud. Here we go. Let me get it on properly. Jamie, are there any more facts about... Oh, I know what you can tell everyone.
What can I tell you?
There's something in there about sugar and how much there's up a bit further, and another page. And see, people might be interested in how much sugar is in fruit.
Fiber and fructose content of popular fruits. That's very interesting. So the percentage of fructose is highest in grapes, which is actually quite surprising. I wouldn't have thought so. It's even higher than pineapple. I would have thought pineapple would be way up there. Down at the other end of the scale, we're looking at the lowest percentage of fructose is in lemon, I would expect that. But cranberry is next from that, which is surprising to me because cranberries are quite sweet. So I would have thought there was higher fructose. So rock melon is actually quite low as well, being only the next up from lemon and cranberry.
Yeah.
So rock melon's actually quite a safe fruit in terms of fructose content.
Yeah.
And up one from rock melon is my favourite, raspberries. So again, quite a safe fruit or berry that you could try, which is under 3% fructose, and the grapes are up at almost 8%. So a fairly safe line to look at would be around the 2.5, which is rock melon, gooseberries, raspberries, and then blueberries just up at number 3 there. So you do have some fruit, if even on a low fructose intake, you could enjoy some fruit. So.
And with paleo, we always go, or we suggest, I follow the Australian guy, Pete Evans, and I've got a lot of his recipe books. However, I also know that the berries, and you can use frozen berries, and they are absolutely delicious, and you can have some on a paleo lifestyle. Yeah. Especially if you have lovely pancakes made with almond meal. You can have a little bit of the maple syrup, and then you can have your berries and perhaps some coconut yogurt.
Even fresh coconut on.
Absolutely nice. Delicious.
Lovely.
Yes. Goodness, we could do a breakfast.
Oh, couldn't we?
Breakfast show.
Oh, that would be good.
So that's cooling down, and I think it's probably okay to put the egg yolks and sugar in that one. And then what we'll do is I'm going to fluff up the egg whites. So that's an easy process, fluffing up that. We'll mix those, and then we'll put them in one big bowl, and we will just gently fold. Yes. So off we go. Normal sugar, you can feel the grains as well. I'll take that if you like.
See what pretty patterns we can make. It's a nice quiet machine.
It's not too bad, yes. My kitchen advisor bought this for me.
It's a lovely one.
Yes.
Well done.
Lovely Phillips. Hey Phillips!
We're giving you a shout out.
If you want to send me some more of your products, please do. I will use them
Quite happily.
Phillips.
Here we go. I think that's about right.
Fabulous. Let me just check on this. Okay. A little bit more, I think. Just a little bit more.
Those peaks are a bit
Bit
funky. Manhandling that thing. All right. Here we go. This in there?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, taste it.
That's
So you can taste how sweet it is.
Still sweet.
Even though I've cut it down 3/4, so we've only got 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Normally a whole, can you imagine?
No, that would be too much.
And you've got to look at our children as well, and the obesity,
And the ADHDs and all of those things.
absolutely.
Yum. I can't wait. This is going to be lovely.
I've already preheated the oven on 180. Now, the normal recipe says 40 to 45 minutes, but I've found that you go by touch, and they normally take maybe another 5 or 10 minutes more. So don't always stick to the recipe the first time you use the recipe, but learn from that. If you take it out and you think, oh, it's a little bit wobbly and we'll be putting a skewer in, then quickly put it back in. Another 5 minutes, check again.
It will depend on your oven as well, I guess, at home,
Yes.
how hot it gets. So.
Oh, look at this.
That's lovely.
Look at this.
Very fluffy.
Yes. And we just gently move that glove. Would you like to hold it up a little bit? Maybe get it all out. This is a real cooking show, so we're not leaving anything behind. It's all going in the cake. Okay. And then we just gently fold it in, keeping it lovely and light. And you'll find the chocolate will go down the bottom because it is a bit heavier than the egg whites, but that's okay because when we tip it in there,
It'll be up the other way. All nice and fluffy. Well done.
It is. Yeah, see, you can see the chocolate coming through. Now, what you can do, we're not today, but what you can do is you can get a jar of sour cherries
Oh, okay.
and put those in as well.
Almost a black forest
Yes.
going on. Sounds lovely.
Yes, it is.
You could put nuts or something through it, perhaps.
You
also,
could put nuts.
if we were
and-
not paleo-y.
That's right. And you can also use chili chocolate, dark
Ooh.
chili chocolate.
That'd give it a nice
It would.
little
So-
zing, wouldn't it?
Yes, if you'd like to lift it
No, I
in,
can't.
and I will pour it in. Just look at this.
Oh, so fluffy.
Ah,
Velvety chocks. Yum.
everything in. We'll probably do it. Wait, hang on. A little bit more. I'm not going to waste it.
Don't waste any, no.
Okay, how's that?
Ready.
And of course I just wiggle it like that. Okay, so now we're ready to put it in the oven, but we will take the pegs out.
Don't forget the pegs.
And Jamie's going to open up the
I can do
oven
that.
for me.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so that is 13:56.
20 minutes?
40 minutes?
40 minutes.
Oh,
And the countdown begins.
okay. So now we wait. Now we can just do a little bit of a clean up.
Okay.
Okay. Da-da-da-da.
That looks wonderful.
So we've just brought it out of the oven. It is a bit wobbly and it's cracked, and that crack is okay. And you'll find, Jamie, that probably in about 10 or 15 minutes the cake will drop down.
Oh, okay.
Because it's quite, it's like a bit like a mud cake.
Yep.
And that's why you can eat it straight away, but I always prefer to make it 1, 2, or even 3 days before I have
okay.
visitors,
Yep.
because then it drops and the consistency is quite delicious.
So it goes
Yes.
a bit denser.
Denser,
Yep,
that's
okay.
the word,
Lovely.
yes. So that's, so we'll
Yay.
leave that one.
It looks marvellous.
It does. Now, I don't have a recipe, and there's probably plenty that we can Google. And I did go like that. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Looks
So, vanilla essence. I have not got vanilla essence. I had the imitation one because vanilla essence is sugar concentrate. Lots and lots of sugar in it, and I'm all about cutting down our sugar. We are going to have some with the maple syrup, and that's delicious. And I was telling you earlier, which I'd like to tell everyone, balsamic vinegar, and people love it. It's loaded with sugar as well. So if you want to have some sort of dressing and you love vinegar, please use your normal, your oil, your white wine vinegar, plain white vinegar. Use vinegar. Use a bit of lemon. Delicious.
Yum. Yeah.
Delicious, delicious. So we're just going to cut those up. I'll just move these out of the way. So we're making a little bit of a chocolate mousse that I'm going to use as the icing on our cake. So that, and there's a few different ways you can do it. Again, we won't today, but you can actually, we've got the cacao there, but you can actually put in some chili flakes.
Oh, yes.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
And didn't you suggest something?
Oh, we were talking about figgy paste.
Figgy paste, if you're, yes.
Yum.
And there's a few different ways you can make this. You can also get a lovely vegan cream cheese, and you can actually blend those together as well.
That would be good. Yeah. Be good. A bit thicker though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. A bit thicker. So you'd have to put a bit of water in, or hot water, to actually melt it down.
Okay. Sounds lovely.
Okay, so no recipe. You want a knife?
Should we cut those?
Oh yes. Thank you. And I'll give you a little bowl to put the little seeds in.
Okay. They're nice and soft.
Good. And whatever is left, like if there's a lot to put on the cake, then you can just use it as it normally is, because this is a mousse actually, but I'm just...
So you could set it in like little
ramekins
glasses or like,
yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. That'd be pretty.
Oh yeah. And then you can have a few raspberries with it or something.
Like a sprinkle of cinnamon or something.
Oh.
Ah. You know me, I like my flavour combos.
We could put a little bit of cinnamon in this one as well, thank you. I'll put a little bit of vanilla in it. Yep, just there. And almond milk.
The slosh.
Yeah.
Just like a pinch.
Yeah. Everything's to taste. There we go there. And maple syrup.
Just a drizzle.
A drizzle.
Sounds good.
Like that.
Looks good. Oh, I like this.
Yes.
Organic.
Yes. And now I'm going to put the lid on and make a bloody big noise.
See you after that.
Okay.
It's coming together really nicely.
Yes, and if you'd like to grab a spoon from there, because you'll do my taster.
Yes, please.
Okay, have a taste.
Oh my wow, that looks so silky.
What does it need?
I'm not sure that it needs anything. It's quite nice.
Okay.
You can still taste the avocado,
Yes.
but it's not like wham. And then there's nice chocolate overtone. The cinnamon isn't coming through.
Well,
We could put a little more in.
put a little bit more, or we can grate some fresh nutmeg into
Oh,
it.
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Okay.
A little something different. But that is bang on. So creamy. Really nice. Look at you and your fresh nutmegs. Du-du-du-du.
Now, does it need more of this cacao powder?
It's pretty chocolatey, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that something on the high note we need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this thing. Wow.
Fresh is best.
Yeah. That's maybe a pinch, a bit more.
Yeah, slam it down.
That'd be like quarter
Yep.
of a teaspoon.
Bang it down. Yep. Well,
Half a teaspoon.
yeah, we'll taste it. We'll get you to taste it again.
Mix it together.
Ooh.
It smells good.
Oh. A little spoon. It smells very nice.
It does. It's changed it. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So smooth.
It is.
It's lovely.
Now look at that. That is so easy, and you saw what we put into it. We put quite soft, ripe avocados. We put some maple syrup. We put some organic cacao in it. We put some almond milk. Now, I normally make my own, so that would make it a bit thicker perhaps and a different flavour.
Yeah.
We put some cinnamon, some fresh nutmeg and some vanilla essence because we're cutting down on the sugar.
Which you could change the cinnamon again to
Yes.
something else.
Chili.
Yeah, chili.
Yes.
Ginger.
Yes.
Yum, yum.
So this is actually a mousse. It's a vegan,
Yeah.
a
it is.
vegan paleo mousse, but I'm going to use it as the icing on the cake.
Oh, and it has settled somewhat.
It has settled down somewhat, and it's going to drop a little bit more. And leave it in the tin to cool down. So we're going to leave that one. And we don't need to put this on it yet because it's too hot, so we leave that to cool in the tin.
And we have one that we've prepared earlier.
We have indeed. With a bit.
The tasty bit out.
We had to taste it.
You have to.
Well, I didn't. All right. This is going to be delicious. Get what you can off. We are going to.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this.
Glorious. Oh, so smooth.
Oh, I wish I ate it.
Yum, yum. It's not going to be the same without you. Oh, yum, that looks fantastic.
Would you like
Yes,
a
please.
slice?
I would indeed.
How much?
Little. Just a little bit.
And what
you
about
very
for my
much.
director?
Yes,
A little bit.
please. Oh, wow, look how fudgy
Look
that
how
is.
fudgy
Yum.
it is. Can everyone see how fudgy
Beautiful.
it is?
Yummy.
So you can eat it straight away on the same day and it's a fluffier, or you can leave it for a few days and it's delicious and it's
Nice
fudgy.
dense fudgy cake.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We'll dig in. Oh, look at that. That is delicious. Oh, throwing it everywhere. Oh, wow. And the topping goes really well with the density of the
Yes.
cake. Oh, that's amazing.
Good.
And not too sweet at all, but sweet enough
Yes.
that you still feel like you're having a treat. Lovely.
And that little bit, that little slice is just enough.
That's
isn't
all
it?
you need, yeah. It's quite
Yes.
strong, but not overpowering. It's lovely. And combination of flavours is really good.
So you could, with little slices like that, you could probably feed a dozen people, or you could do 8 people, or you could do 4 people, or you could do 2 people.
Oh, that's amazing. Very
Good.
nice.
So
Thank you.
my pleasure. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for,
Thank you for having me.
oh, my absolute pleasure. So this is easy. It is a very easy
Yes,
process.
absolutely.
You saw it. So it is eggs and we use the egg whites and the yolk. We have some sort of sugar substitute, something that's healthy. We have the chocolate,
70%.
70%. I might even go 90% next time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That would be luscious.
So it is flourless chocolate cake. It is delicious.
It is.
And this mousse is a mousse, or as we're using it today, it is an absolutely delicious topping. So I hope you've enjoyed our first Paleo Polly you can have your cake and eat it segment, and I'll see you again soon when I probably will make my lovely rosemary cake using fresh rosemary from the garden.
Is it a sweet cake or a savoury one?
It's sweet.
Sounds very interesting.
It is.
Lovely.
So thank you, Jamie, from
Thank you
Two
very
Plump Vegetarians.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And I will see all of you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.